Hi, my name is Nicole Albertson, and I'm a product specialist here at E1 Solutions. Today, I want to walk through how we build a new window in GP without any code using a product called Extender. Extender allows us to build out new windows that attach to your existing GP data, or forms as we call them, that are completely independent of your GP data and added to new menus. With that, let's take a look at how we can build out our first window that would be attached to our GP data. We're going to start by launching Extender. And from here, we're going to create a new window. Now what we're going to do today is we need to track some additional information on our customer addresses. So in GP, on this sales customer address maintenance window, I want to track some additional information like who are the contact people at each specific address, what's their phone number, their email, does that address have loading docks, what are their hours, some of the things like that. So let's go back to Extender, into our window, and we'll start by giving it a name. And we'll just call it customer shipping, and that's what the end user is going to see. Now it's asking me what window in GP do I want to attach this to. So we're going to attach it to the customer address maintenance window. So that's under sales and then customer address maintenance. Now you can see it pulled in the key fields from that window. So when I attach it to a record in that window, it's going to uniquely identify it based on the customer number and the address code. If we just did it on customer number, we'd get the same data for each address. I want to know the specifics about each specific address, so I need that address code as well. Now we can have up to 30 fields, 2 rows here as you can tell. And so I can just double click on a field, or I can click this Add Field button to add a new field. And as easy as typing in the field prompt, what do I want my field called, and selecting the field type. And you can see we have a lot of different types here. Ours is just going to be a short string. You can give it a format if you wanted to. That's completely up to you. I'm just going to leave it alone. We'll add that. And then we can skip a field just to kind of give our window some spacing and that type of stuff. And we're going to just put a notes field on there. That'll be a long string. And let's do a drop-down list just to show you how that works. I want to know if they have loading docks. So we're going to do a list, and you can see that I get to define the list that goes there. So we'll add a few items here, and we'll just add some different types of loading docks. And I can do new lines or separate them by a comma. So we'll go with just 4 types there and add those. And then we'll save that. So we have that. So let's just save this and see where we're at. I'm just going to open that customer address again. We'll just pull up Aaron Fitz here and an address. And then if I go to additional, where you'll find your Extender windows, I see customer shipping. And now I have that information. You can see we talked about it being on the customer number and address code, so that's how I'm keying. But I can add hours. I have that drop down of a loading dock I chose, and then I can add any notes I want to. And I can save that record. I can do it for the warehouse as well. Go back to the primary, and that data is in there. But we also talked I want the contact information for those, but there could be multiple people. If I just create a field there, it's only going to let me enter 1. So let's go back to our Extender window. And what we can do is if we go to options, we can add a scrolling grid, theory of getting more than one record in that grid there. It's the same to add fields. So we'll add the contact person. We'll make that a short string. Then we'll do their phone number. And we have a phone number type to format it that way. And let's do their email. So we'll pick email address and save this. So let's save that, save our main window, go back to our customer addresses and pull up our window again. And now you can see I'm still on Aaron Fitz at that primary address, so I still have the hours and loading dock. But just like that, I have a contact person. So now I could be that contact person. And if I wanted to, I could have another person. And I can go on and enter in as many contacts as that location has. So just like that, we've created 6 fields. That's exactly the data I needed to store. I didn't have to write any code. I didn't have to know how to do anything real special. I just had to know that these are the fields I wanted, had to give it a name, and what type of data storage do I want. Now, whether I chose long string, short string, it's all about how it displays it on the window and how it saves the data in the back end. The email address, the string field, both of them will work, but you can see on email, I do have kind of a hyperlink there where it'll actually do like a GP email does and let me create an email. The phone number, I could have just done a number and typed it in myself, but it gives me that nice formatting. So really it's about how you want it formatted to the end user. So we'll save that. And let's go look at just a few other things we can do with that data now that we have our basic window created. Well, what if I don't want the end user to always have to go to the additional button and open it? We have options for auto open where I can do maybe when they enter in the contact person, so when they tab into the contact person field, it automatically opens that window. I could also put a hotkey on there to say maybe Control D opens that window. So if I come back and save this, now we've put kind of a trigger in there, so we just need to relaunch our customer address window to get that trigger on that window. And if I pull up our Aaron Fitz record again, I'm going to do Control D, and you can see it automatically opens it. As well as if I just click into the contact person, it automatically opens that window. So we can put that flow for them so the end user doesn't always have to go to additional, or maybe they don't have to remember to do it. If we put it in front of them, they're more likely to enter it. Back on our window again. Some other things we can do on our extender windows. If I go to inquiry, if there was another window in GP that we wanted to attach this to, we certainly could. You know, the account information is available on hundreds of windows in GP. Well, if I'm attaching to that, I might want my data or my extender window to show on some of those other windows, or our customer addresses might be available on another window. Maybe I want this data to show in multiple places. We can do that. We can also integrate with SmartList either here to the default SmartList if you'd like to, or if we want to make it a little bit more advanced, we can add it in SmartList Builder. We can add extra windows. GP windows have buttons at the bottom. Maybe we want to have some buttons at the bottom that track additional data on ours as well. We can do that. If we get into Extender Enterprise, which is a little bit more robust version of Extender, we can actually add in logic where we can have it disable and enable fields, where we can have it opening and closing forms for us. Maybe it's running a SQL script in the back end, different things like that. But again, that's Extender Enterprise for most of that. But just kind of wanted to talk through some of those different things we can have Extender do. Now you may be asking yourself, where did it store this data because we didn't create any tables, we didn't do anything for that. When you install Extender, it creates all the tables for you and stores that data right in your company database along with the actual customer address information. It's just another table in that same database. We're storing it all in for you. You don't have to worry about any of that either in the back end. All of this data is just SQL data, so you can actually use it in other tools. I mentioned we have it in SmartList Builder. If you're using things like SQL reporting services, maybe you're using another BI product, it's SQL data, so as long as that product can pull in SQL data, you can get at it and report on that data right along with your GP data that you're pulling in. So that was a look at how in just a few minutes we can create a brand new window in GP, store additional data that GP wasn't storing for us, and have it saved all in our SQL database for us without having to write any code or being a developer of any sort. Hopefully that gets you going on Extender, but if we can be of any help, certainly reach out to us at any time.